Since we live in the age of technology, it can be used to solve almost any problem. After all, man has learned to perform the most complex operations, created virtual reality, and even launched rockets into space. However, there are situations where real problems are solved only by chance or by an incredible connection between people. In this case, knowledge and even the most advanced technology are powerless. Such an incredible case took place in an American hospital when a mother's life was hanging by a thread after giving birth. Looking ahead, I will say that only thanks to a sudden and seemingly strange decision of a nurse, a real miracle happened, which no one in the world can explain so far. 23-year-old Shelley Cawley from South Carolina and her husband Jeremy never imagined they would become a big sensation in the medical world one day. They were an ordinary couple with a healthy lifestyle, and after a dream wedding, they began planning for the arrival of their baby, and both took this step very seriously. When Shelley found out she was expecting a baby, instead of just telling her husband, she organized a whole party, and of course, Jeremy, as a father-to-be, was pleased. In general, the couple was very excited during those 8 months, until one day, the doctors told them that the baby was in danger and that a cesarean section was urgently needed. So the day the Cawley family had been waiting for almost turned into a tragedy. Shelley held her husband's hand until the last moment before falling asleep for several hours, while he did not leave the room, trying to support his beloved wife in every possible way. The experienced midwives knew what they were doing, so the operation was a success, and little Ryland was born entirely healthy. Jeremy was so happy to see his daughter and hold her in his arms for the first time that he forgot all his worries. Still, he had no idea what awaited his beloved Shelley, because just 2 minutes later, the hospital staff told him that the young mother had fallen into a coma. Although there were no contraindications for the surgery, her body could not withstand the anesthesia and overexertion. A blood clot had formed in Shelley's blood that went to her brain and sent her into a coma.
She had a lot of fluid in her lungs. They were having trouble getting oxygen to her brain.
Therefore, the doctor said that her blood pressure was very high, and the surgeons were fighting for her life in the operating room. But honestly, she had almost no chance, and most likely, the doctors could not save the patient. Just imagine how Jeremy felt when he saw his daughter for the first time and jumped for joy, but at that very moment, he could say goodbye forever to the love of his life. He could only hope for a miracle and stay in the waiting room while the doctors fought for Shelley's life.
It was an emergency C-section, so I wasn't allowed to be in there. Shelley had to be put to sleep for the C-section.
It must be said that nearly an hour of interventions led to nothing, and when the surgeons were already preparing for the worst, an ordinary nurse named Ashley Manus had a great idea. The woman was unsure what she had suggested to the doctors, but she knew very well that there were studies in medicine that said that the simple contact between the mother's skin and the baby's skin usually helped the little ones. What if, in this case, the reverse worked and the maternal instinct helped?
We knew skin-to-skin contact is very beneficial to an infant, so we thought, well, why not try it for a mom?
After these words, there was silence in the room, but there was no other option, and the doctors decided to take advantage of this unlikely opportunity. In an instant, the baby was already at her mother's side, but unfortunately, after touching Shelley, she immediately fell asleep, and attempts to wake her up were unsuccessful. Then there was only one thing left to do. The nurse took the sleeping baby in her arms and placed her on top of her mother, at which point the baby cried loudly, and just a few seconds later, a medical miracle occurred. Science still cannot explain this phenomenon, but the sensors showed the awakening of Shelley's brain. The doctors just stared at the monitors in amazement with their hands over their heads. And so it was. After touching her daughter, the woman came out of the coma, and after another week of skin-to-skin contact therapy, the mother's skin with the baby's skin, Shelley was fully awake and able to hold her daughter in her arms. One might think it was a true miracle, but that is precisely what happened.
So we were literally pinching and poking and tickling and doing anything we can to, once she started crying out, I think it really got inside Shelley and woke her up.
The Colley family thanked Nurse Ashley for a long time, although gifts and words were not enough to express their gratitude for her brilliant idea. In turn, the humble nurse says that the time will come when little Ryland will discover that she has made an absolute miracle, for she saved her mother's life. Although it is still unclear how this could have been possible, this story, with a happy ending, teaches us never to give up and to always believe in miracles. Even though it may seem otherwise, folks, you have experienced moments in your life when only a gift or some special invisible connection influenced the outcome of the whole situation. Like the video if you enjoyed it, be sure to share your experience in the comments, and that's all for today. See you soon!